You're listening to the 3 Feet Radio Show with Ben Carbonaro and Luke Herbert. From our studios come special guests and netball commentary, exclusively on YouTube.
Welcome, listeners, to this current edition of the 3 Feet Radio Show. I am your co-host, Luke Herbert, and joining me in the studio is Ben Carbonaro, the noted netball journalist for Netball Scoop. How are you today, Ben?
I'm very well, Luke, and I must say I'm very excited to have our special guest today because we've been trying to get her on for a while.
Yeah, and I've been very much looking forward to it, and, I'll get to share a sort of good memory of watching our guest play netball today, which I think is a little bit different. But today joining us in the studio is former Silver Fern and current assistant Auckland netball coach in the NPC, Debbie White. How are you today, Debbie?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me on the show.
And all right, we'll get us right underway, since you've been kind enough to give us some of your time. Could you please tell us a bit about your coaching career that's occurred after your playing career finished?
Well, I guess my coaching career probably started while I was playing. I've been coaching now for probably 12 years. Started when I was teaching down in Taieri College, coaching the juniors, and then helped out with their premier team. And then when we were playing National Bank Cup before the competition changed into the ANZ Cup, we used to run quite a few coaching clinics, and I really enjoyed coaching all the kids. We would have ranges of ages from like 10 right up to 18. And I guess that kind of sparked my passion. And from there, I've just been coaching a range of teams, from school teams to Auckland age group teams. And now I'm lucky enough to have the opportunity to assist Paula Bailey with the NPC Auckland team.
Debbie, how did your role with the Auckland NPC program come about?
Well, the last 2 years I've been assistant coach and coaching the Auckland under-19 team. I've also been a mentor coach for the younger age groups, so the year 7, 8 and 9 Auckland rep team. So I've been involved in the program and the academies with Auckland Netball. And the system is that they advertise for positions, and so I applied and was lucky enough to be selected through the interview process to help pull her out.
And just switching back to the National Bank Cup, now that you've mentioned it, what do you remember about the National Bank Cup days when you played with the Otago Rebels?
Otago Rebels is one of my fondest netball memories. I just loved playing for the Otago team. Was really, really proud to play for them for all that time. Mostly, I think I really made a lot of friendships through that team, and some of them I still have today. Catch up with the likes of Katie Ritchie, and she's got a family now, and Anna Scarlett, and she's got her family now, and Ellie Shanks, and she's about to have a family. So I think just those lifelong friendships started all the way back then, and it's been fantastic.
And I could be wrong, Debbie, but did you play with Demelza McLeod, or as she was then known as
Yes.
Demelza Fires with the Rebels? I know Demelza quite well, being an Aussie, and I must say,
Yes.
she is one of the biggest characters in netball going around. She's
Oh my God.
hilarious on court or off court, isn't she?
Yeah, totally. She is one crazy cat. Absolutely love Demelza. Amazing player, but just such a character. And I'm so glad that the Aussies and New Zealanders are intermixing. I think it benefits New Zealand netball to have that skill set from Australia, but just the personalities as well, just awesome.
Just sort of switching gears here a little bit and just moving on to when you played for the Silver Ferns. What are your memories of your test debut with the Silver Ferns?
I'll let you in a secret. My main memory is being told that I was going to go on in the second quarter, and I went behind the bleachers to warm up, and I totally flipped over flat on my back in front of all the security guards. So that would be my first memory. I'd be totally embarrassed about that, but getting on that court and just absolutely loving it. It was an amazing experience. Yeah.
So you only played a handful of tests, Debbie, but, it must have been pretty special, just the emotion you have running through your body when you put on that black dress. You feel 10 feet taller, don't you? I think it's Irene Van Dyke or someone else say they feel 10 feet taller when they do it, put the dress on.
Yeah, I think, gosh, I'd never compare myself to Irene, but I just felt so lucky and just such a sense of excitement, here's your lifelong dream coming true. And going out and singing that national anthem and having your family and your close friends watching is something that, you just really can't describe or liken to anything in everyday life. It just makes your legs go jelly, if you can say that.
And just to clarify for the listener, your test debut for the Silver Ferns was against South Africa?
Yes, it was, yeah.
So, Debbie, what were your thoughts on the recently competed Commonwealth Games netball tournament?
I thought it was really exciting. I love how internationally more teams are becoming much more competitive, especially England and Jamaica. I think England were particularly unlucky not to take a few big scalps. I mean, against the Diamonds and the Ferns. I think in the next few years they are definitely going to be the ones to watch, especially when they have their captain Pam Cookie return from injury. I think that's going to give them a huge lift again. Really gutted for the Ferns that they didn't take the gold. I know they work extremely hard to be the best they can be, and I guess they'll be a bit disappointed with that final, but I'm sure it'll make all the girls that much stronger, so look out for the World Cup next year.
And just before we leave the Commonwealth Games, what do you make of the improvement of a team like Malawi, who were pretty close to upsetting the Silver Ferns?
I know, good old Malawi. I think they have such a unique style of people that they're always kind of that bogey team. They always seem to have, a couple of good quarters against those top sides, and in the Com Games they just kind of stretch that out. I think, they will be getting stronger, but I think also the other teams will be getting used to their unique style as well, so we'll probably come up with better systems to combat them, but I think the more countries that can get so strong, it's just going to be better for the game. It's going to make people more interested. It's going to lift everyone's netball as well. So good on them. Go Malawi.
And just talking about Malawi, I've seen a fair bit of MY Kumwenda because I'm based here in Melbourne, Debbie, and
okay.
MY played a lot of state league netball down here. She did 3 years here with the Peninsula Club here before she went up to the ANZ, and she also played in the feeder competition to the ANZ, the Australian Netball League. She's just got so much natural talent, and she's just so athletic, and I think it certainly has benefited her coming into the Australian system. But as I said, she's just got so much natural ability, and how cool is her elevation? It's amazing, isn't it?
Oh my gosh, it's out eh? Yeah, like she's just taking ball that nobody else could get. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, I didn't realise that she'd played in Australia, but we'll take all the credit for making it good, eh?
Yeah, of course. All our work with the tactics.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, and just sort of switching gears back to your coaching role, you're usually a school teacher by trade and a school netball coach, but you're currently on maternity leave, so how do you combine being a mum-to-be and being a coach?
I have a very, very supportive husband. He used to play rugby for the Blues, so he understands sports and sort of that passion behind the drive to be the best you can. So he's learning how to bottle feed and his family lives here in Auckland and stuff. So I'm really lucky to have a strong support network around me. Otherwise, I just wouldn't be able to do it. Yeah.
And although you are on leave from teaching, I believe a little birdie tells me that you are currently working with your hubby as a milkman. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, we own a Inca franchise out West Auckland, so I kind of do the paperwork and he does the legwork and delivers milk all around West Auckland. I don't even drink milk, to be honest.
Well, that is funny, the milk woman that doesn't drink milk.
Yeah, I know. I've never drunk milk. I don't really like it. So.
Oh, don't worry. You joined the old TV repairman when they used to exist. His TV didn't work properly.
Yeah.
When there were such people around. But I'm just going to sort of switch gears here slightly and ask a sort of question I don't usually get to ask guests. But some days after the September 4, 2010 7-1 Canterbury earthquake, I had the pleasure of watching you turn out for Auckland in the NPC against Canterbury. And in short, this was a very positive memory for me, just given the nature of the events that had happened and the days beforehand. So can you tell us a bit about playing for Auckland and before that playing for Otago in the NPC?
Well, I played 10 years for Otago NPC, and prior to that I played 2 years for Southland. Just always loved that competition. It's such a hard competition because unlike the rugby NPC, the netball is played all over a week. So you have sort of 7 games in 6 days. So it's very intense. I think that intensity really brings teams together, and it's not always about the big stars because often the Ferns are unavailable for that competition. So it's kind of almost a tier under or the tier that's pushing for the Ferns or the franchise contract. So it's really competitive, it's really intense, and it is just a whole lot of fun as well. Just, netball day in, day out, which obviously I'm really passionate about, so it's kind of my ideal week. Different playing with a team like Otago and then playing with a team like Auckland. But both regions have very different styles of netball. Otago are more man-on-man defence, sort of fitness orientated, where Auckland are more based sort of around flair and zone defence. So it really added to my game playing for Auckland, and I really enjoyed a different group of people as well. So both equally awesome fun.
Just staying on that NPC track, Debbie, what are the differences between coaching senior NPC netball and under 19s? There'd be a bit of a difference, wouldn't there?
Oh yeah, it's huge. It's sort of, under 19s are more of a development phase. Some of the girls are still in high school, some of the first year out at university. So some of them, for some girls have just been picked up in rep teams, can be their first time or it's their first time in a number one team. So there's lots of structural things we need to learn. And again, it's a really quick competition, so only 7 weeks together. With the seniors for NPC, they've got more skills. It's a high intensity. So you're looking more around, instead of individual skills, more about tactics against other teams. So the girls come with the full package pretty much, whereas under 19s, they're still developing their skills and their skill set. So it's, lots of tactics and, tweaking little things, whereas under 19s are more skill-based.
And just before we look at wrapping up, you played in the early years of the ANZ Championship. It has certainly grown since then, hasn't it? What are your feelings on how the ANZ Championship has progressed since you played in it?
I think there's probably more coverage than when we first started out. I think that the Australian, and when we first started, when Australian teams played in New Zealand and when New Zealand teams played in Australia, I think both countries found it hard to adapt to the different umpire interpretations, and that often affected results, whereas now people have got used to those differing interpretations, and the competitions are much more closer, and you can see New Zealand teams winning more on Australian soil and obviously Australian teams winning more on New Zealand soil. So I think it's benefited both countries as well and strengthened their netball. Also, I think with more English imports coming and playing in that competition, it's obviously lifting the international competition, and obviously Malawi imports, so, and a couple of Jamaicans floating around as well. So I think not only benefiting both Australia and New Zealand, so I think it's benefiting international netball, which is great for the game.
And coming up later this week, Debbie, we're going to be speaking with Irina Michaele. Please correct me if I've said her name incorrectly. And she's actually making history by becoming the first Kiwi import to play in Australia. We've previously had an Australian playing in New Zealand with Julie Corletto.
Yeah.
How do you think Irina's going to go with her netball? Do you think it's a good move for her to go over to Perth?
Oh, totally. I absolutely think it's a fantastic move. As I said before, Australia have a slightly different style of netball, and if she can add to her New Zealand skill set, that's just going to make her a much stronger player, and I think she's going to love it. And if I could turn back time, I think that would be the only thing that I would have done differently in my netball career, is perhaps try to go to Australia to play.
Well, you never know. You might get a chance to coach a New Zealand side in Australia someday.
Yeah, maybe. That would be quite good, isn't it?
And just before we wrap up, do you want to give the Netball NPC a brief plug, the dates and where it's being played this year?
Okay, so the Lion Foundation netball competition will be played out at the Waitaki Trust Stadium from I think it's the 30th of September to the 4th of October. There's a couple of double headers, so there's plenty of netball. Teams from right across New Zealand, from Southland to Tasman, Canterbury, Otago, who were last year's champions, and obviously Auckland. We would love everyone's support. We've got a young team this year. We haven't quite announced our final 12, but the squad is looking particularly young and really exciting, and I think it's just going to be a great netball fest for the week. So if everyone's got some time during the school holidays, bring their kids down, bring themselves down, and come and watch some amazing athletes compete.
Well, just before we let you go, Ben and I would like to wish you well for the remainder of your pregnancy and with your milk delivery
I've actually
business.
had my little baby.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
Well, I wasn't quite sure on that point. I
I
wasn't.
could hear him in the background.
Yeah, I thought I could hear a kid too, and I was
Yeah.
wondering
Yeah.
if this is your second pregnancy, and wondering how much I should ask on air. And but now that
Hey,
you've
not that I'm
clarified,
aware of.
yeah. All right then. Now that I've cleared up that point,
Yeah.
but Ben and I still wish you well anyway. And thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for taking out time out of your busy schedule to talk with us. It's much appreciated.
Yeah, thank you.
You've been listening to the 3 Feet Radio Show with Ben Carbonaro and Luke Herbert. Tune in next time for more special guests and netball commentary exclusively on YouTube.